We begin with Deku walking down the street of Mosuchafu. Since the villain attack at his high school, or his school, happened yesterday, the school is taking a couple of weeks off for their students so that they can repair any damage done to the school. But we also have pro heroes around the scene searching for any clues of where they were at. The only things they have is they were after Deku for some reason. When they asked, he claimed that they were after his one-of-a-kind support item that gives him ability to transform. They tried to figure out why, but to no use and continued their search around the school. So with this time off, Deku and Max had him not only clean up the beach both in human and alien forms, but also his new support item, Tetrax, gave him, which was his hoverboard, but had been failing to properly even move while standing on it. He never thought that something similar to a skateboard would be so much harder than him learning how to use 10 different forms that are equivalent to quirks. So after the 15th failed attempt, they called it a day and he heads home. But as he walks, he notices a truck driver wasn't paying attention as a girl with brown hair and pink cheeks was walking across the street, says unaware of the danger heading towards her. He quickly goes to the omnitrix and dials up accelerate, but once he slams down on it, his transformation was something different. Other than the blue raptor, he turned into an orange, dog, bear-like creature with no eyes. So, he lets out a low growl as he is in his Vulpomancer form, also known as Wild Mutt, which he had named before. He had no time to argue against the supposed watch as he books it to the girl. As the truck driver was sending a quick text to someone, he finally looked up from his phone and sees the girl crossing the street, also on her phone. The truck driver quickly slams on the brakes and honks the horn. The girl, who is on the phone, looks up and froze as she sees the truck about to collide with her body, like a deer who is passing on the interstate. But fortunately, an orange bullet grabs her and got her out of the way safely. As the truck goes past where she was standing, stopping, finally able to stop a bit ways down. The truck driver gets out of the car quickly as the girl recovers from the moment. Not sure what happened, but glad someone saved her. Although she was not expecting that someone to be a rather big dog. So, whose dog even is this? Wild Mutt lets out a little growl. Wait, is this even a dog? It doesn't have any eyes or a collar. She looks at the creature before her as she sees 4 gills on his neck and has a black and white brace on the side of his left shoulder. She goes to pet Wild Mutt on the head, but shoots up, sensing something was off. Whoa there, easy boy, good boy. So, suddenly, the dog lets out a roar as Wild Mutt grabs a girl with his jaws by the back of his shirt and got out of the way of 2 laser bolts that was about to hit them. Letting go of the girl, Wild Mutt growls at the 2 drones flying around and attacking him again, quickly jumping into action to deal with the new threat, this time aimed at him. As everyone else runs away from this scene that is happening, Wild Mud dodges everything he can as he jumps onto the truck that was speeding past a moment ago and using it as a platform to jump at one of the drones. Using his claws and jaws tear apart its wiring, making it glitch out and fall down as he jumped off and hanged off a light post. As the robot crashed, he sensed the other one coming towards him and warming up its laser. But suddenly, a manhole cover slammed into the bot, making it fall and hovering barely. But while Mutt comes down onto it and bites off his head, tearing it off. While Mutt wondered where did that manhole cover come from, till the girl from earlier rushes in. "Hey there, boy, are you okay?" Mutt lets out a small growl as the girl pets his head. "Good. I had to think fast and saw the manhole cover, so I made it float and throw it to them. And I realized I'm just talking to a dog." The girl starts petting Walnut's head. "Well, anyways, boy, go home. So you're good now." Walnut didn't say anything as he just ran off, being a little embarrassed as he was being pet by a girl who mistook him for a real dog. As the girl stood there for a moment, blinking a couple of times, before walking off and thinking to herself, "Man, I hope my life gets less hectic when I get into UA." As she walks off, the police sirens blares in the background as a young woman in her 20s comes out of the shut alleyways and looks down at the downed drones. She smirks and grabs one of them and rushes off. As we cut to later with Deku's de-transformed form from Wildmutt, as he's now at home, still recovering from his earlier embarrassment of being petted like a dog by a rather cute girl, in his opinion. But he shook the memory out of his head once he headed inside. There, his mother had got done cooking, and so he he decided to wash up and start eating. Both Inko and Deku sat there in silence. It's been like this since the attack at his school. As not every day you receive a call from the police that your son's school was just attacked and had heard your son had a quirk to use to defend himself from being killed. That's really the first time the fact he had what he's been calling a quirk brought up into question by Inko, who now knows about it, but only after 6 weeks has passed for the two to learn. So, he's been training with his grandfather on his quirk to get better control of his power. It was apparent to Inko that her son had no intention to talk about it in that moment for some unknown reason. But that wasn't very uncommon ever since he was little. After that day, he asked if he could be a hero, and she inevitably regret what she said, and wished every day she could take it back and said anything encouraging to him instead. But she can't, and now just hope he can forgive her as she supports her son in his dreams being a hero, as she just wonders what's bothering him now. Deku is currently thinking about the events from earlier, how the girl thought he was a dog petting him like one, but also the robots that was coming after him and the omnitrix. He thought of maybe telling his mother the truth, but he knows if he does, probably gonna faint and grow incredibly worried. And probably even put her in danger. But as he thought, Inko has started to speak up, which makes all his current attention go to her. "So, Izuku, did you do anything today?" Well, Deku thinks back to the earlier saving of that girl, stopping the robots, and being petted by the girl at the same time. I mostly trained on my quirk with Grandpa Max and, sort of, met someone, you might say. Inko pokes up at, like, that a little bit. Him possibly meeting someone, even making a new friend, possibly. Oh, really? Who did you meet? Oh, it was a girl. Inko smiled and grew excited a little. That's great. Did you get her name or phone number? Well, I said I sort of met her. We only talked. She's the only one who really talked. I just stood there. That wasn't a total lie, but he did leave out the parts about him saving her as a big dog with no eyes and couldn't talk back due to his nerves and the fact that he couldn't. Oh, I see. You didn't even get a name? No. Inko didn't know what to say. She knew he had social problems before, and was hard for him to make new friends, especially since he was quirkless. Well, what? Hey, you could still make new friends when you get into UA. So Deku just smiles a little, happy to see his mother supporting him. But would she still support him if he knew he was still quirkless, or if he never had the omnitrix? This question would bother him as they continued to eat, and in silence. To drown out the silence, Inko turned on the TV for the news. This just in. So there was a wild dog in downtown earlier who saved a girl from being hit by a truck. It then was attacked by some robots. If anyone knows anything about this, please let us know. Oh, what kind of dog do you think could do that? Oh, I'm not sure, Mom, but it seems interesting. Deku grimaces as he totally forgot about the drones there, after what happened with that girl and all. Oh well, he thought he should. Grandpa Max has taken care of it, and explained something like rogue robots trying to going out of control, most likely recovering them by now, if what the worst could happen. Meanwhile, as we cut to one of the drones, from earlier, was dropped onto a metal table with tools lying around and other parts laying there too, underneath a bright light. A woman, with pale skin and maroon red hair, looks on down to the machine, with a grin. Rojo, your luck has just changed for the better. Rojo, the game, the fair young woman, which we will explain now. Rojo Gain had left her after a job that went wrong, and she had to abandon the loot and her weapon, which was attached to her via her quirk. Rojo's quirk attachment. Attaching technology to her, this quirk makes her be able to get into a well-known support item school back in the days. Although it wasn't as good as UA, but she didn't care. She was kicked out after they had discovered she was selling her support items into the black market. After this, she was kicked out and followed into a life of crime. Had even started her motorcycle game, but had, as of late, been down on her luck until now. Now, what exactly are you? She grabs a couple of its exposed wires and plugs it into a car battery, giving it some juice. The reddish-orange eyes started to blink back to life as electricity goes through it and remains of his body. Now we're cooking. The drone tries to move but couldn't, as Rojo picks up his head and examines it. Now let's see what makes you tick. She grabs a screwdriver as she was about to take it apart, but the drone grabs her wrists and with its wires, freaking her out. Rojo tries to tear off the wires, but Mort grabs her and holds her other arm, and even a couple of around her torso as she tries to figure out what to do, as she figures her quirk could give her the ability to control this drone. But this backfires as the drone sends nanites into her bloodstream. So parts of the drones even combine with her as she screams out in pain. A moment after, the pain subsided as she held her head, but realized something was off. As she looked at her hands, she saw large claws on her fingertips, and her skin tone is now red. Freaking out, she rushes outside of her hideout, which was outside of Mosu Tafu, deep in the forest and in a back road area. So, her bike close by, as several strip cars lays about as well. She gets over to one of the strip cars and looks at her reflection, looking at herself and freaking out a bit, because it is now drastically different from what she looked like earlier. Her skin had changed from its pale complexion to a red tone. So, she had 4 cybernetic eyes and 2 red orbs on her shoulders. Down on her arm lays sharp blades, and on her forearms and fingertips. There is also added muscle mass to her as well, making parts of her clothes to up around the legs and arms, and even her feet lie bare. Rojo wondered what happened till she realized she had merged with the drone completely. She smirked at the fact her quirk was useful, but had much more power had she had become. As she looks back at the stripped car, slashing at it, leaving a big gash into the car door, then tearing it off with little to no effort. Throwing it into the sky, wondering if she has the lasers too, except for the orbs on her shoulders to pop up, connected by 2 mechanical limbs, firing lasers at the door and blowing it to bits. She just smirks. With this, no hero could possibly stand in her way as she goes to rule Musu Tafu now. Meanwhile, as we cut back to the War Tyrant's ship, he was angry and was better to send out more drones. But Siphon had spoke up, seeing something weird. My lord, we have some interesting news. What is it? We are getting a combined signal from one of the drones from earlier. It had seemed to merge with the resonance of this planet. Perhaps one head is better than 2. The next day, Deku had woken up early. That morning, not having school or training that day, it was an off day for any of his alien training, so he slept in a bit, in his mostly empty room. His All Might Much and decorations are gone. Even the little sign on his door is gone too. Posters, action figures, hell, he might as well had the whole catalog when it came to his merch, but after that day, he couldn't look at it all the same. So, that smile once gave him comfort, now only mocks him, telling him he can't be a hero when he knows so many is telling him he can now. The only things that were left in his room was his notebooks, all on heroes, his furniture, and other small hero stuff that doesn't involve All Might, but doesn't take up any majority of the room. The rest of the All Might stuff is just out in a box, labeled All Might. What couldn't fit, anything, some of the other stuff, such as his more limited edition stuff, have been sold, in order to possibly redecorate his room a little, getting new clothes, and there were still a few things that he couldn't part with, so he kept with. He headed to the kitchen to see Inko was awake. So, morning, sweetie. How did you sleep? Good, Mom. He goes to the kitchen and grabs himself an apple and starts to eat it for his breakfast. So, what do you plan on doing? He takes another bite and thinks for a moment. Well, I was thinking just to go shopping for some new bed comforter and sheets, and maybe a new hero poster or two. Inko pokes up and gets a great idea. How about I come with you? Mom, you don't have to. Nonsense. I would love to come with you. Now, let's just get ready and we can leave soon. Okay then. He finishes eating his apple and goes back to his room. So I'm getting ready, thinking this might be a good time to spend with his mother. Elsewhere, yet civilians were running away as from a Roger, who had decided to be gutsy and attack a jewelry store in broad daylight. Any hopes of a hero stopping her was crushed laying on top of a car outside. As she walked up to one of the display cases, firing one of the shoulder-mounted lasers, burning a hole into the glass. As she picks up the jewels and grinning. Jackpot. But as she held the priceless jewels in her hand, a high-pitched ringing went through her head as she crushes the jewels, turning them into dust as she held onto her head in pain. Listen to me well, whoever you are. Roger tries to keep herself up and she trying to fight his headache. Who are you? How did you get in my head? The voice only gets louder within Roger's head, however. No questions. You're here to serve me. That statement made Rojo irritated beyond belief. Guess again, I work alone. The high-pitched sound comes back much worse, causing her to constantly collapse on her one knee as the voice spoke once again. You possess power you could never imagine. Fulfill my demands, and I can give you even more power and technology. But if you fail me, I will turn you into dust. The proposal sounds tempting. If this guy was the one who created these robots and gave him more, how could she refuse? And of course, the death threat was in factor as well. So what is it you want? She could almost hear a smirk from the voice, despite not being able to see them. Only one piece of valuable technology, and missing from my possession. Luckily, you're programmed to find it. She suddenly sees text and maps, like a video game display in her sight of vision. She can't make a lick of sense of the words, but she can see where the map is. Now, go and retrieve my omnitrix. Back with the Midoriya family at Mosutofu's shopping district, Deku and his mother was looking around at the different stores around there. Oh, Izuku, there's new All Might merch. Do you wanna... no, thanks, Mom. Let's just keep looking around. Oh, okay, sweetie. They kept on walking as they kept quiet. That's until Inko spoke up once again. Izuku, is everything alright? He stops and turns to his mother. Of course, Mom. Why do you ask? It's just that your face used to light up at the mention of him, All Might. So, and anything new about him, but now you have a different reaction towards him. And I don't know if it's because something happened or if it's you're growing out of All Might for some reason. I know we don't normally talk, but All Might, but first All Might, then your quirk showing up, and I don't know about, and I got like a police call. I didn't really know if you say you're fine because you're trying to not to worry me, or if you don't feel like you can confide in me anymore because of what I told you those years ago. She clutches at her heart a little, at the memory with pain and sorrow. Guilt plagues his mind. Of course she would feel like this. He hadn't confided in her for years, to her own mother, making her feel this and not telling her anything. So, so but this was because this wasn't just his secret to keep. It was not just Max's as well. It was all the alien population's secret here on Earth right now. Mom, I'm sorry that I've been keeping things from you, but I have my reasons. But me not telling you about my quirk wasn't. I'm sorry. Deku hugs Inko, and Inko smiles back softly, hugging her son back as well. After they break the hug, Deku looks down at Inko. Now, how about we stop somewhere to eat and I can explain my quirk a little? Alright. Elsewhere, with Rojo, has been trying to make sense of all this alien text telling her where the omnitrix is at. So that is the only thing of helping her is the icon on the map of the omnitrix. And from what she can tell, it's close by. From her perch on top of the tallest building. Meanwhile, we see Inko and Deku at a park with a couple sandwiches from a local deli, as Deku is showing all the alien icons to his mother, telling him what they all can do. So, this one runs fast? Yeah, I call him Accelerate, and this one is forearms. He's just really strong. So, wow, I didn't know you had such a powerful quirk. Or is it quirks? But wait, how did you get this device, or discover any of this? Inko had caught him on his lie, and not thinking about it, and when or if they would even tell her. So he had gotten the story down with Max a bit, and had only a bare bones explanation of a quirk awakening and guarding a support item to help him to use his quirk. Well, you see, I had a funny feeling a few months ago and didn't know what it was. I had Grandpa Max take me to the doctors and they discovered that I gotten a quirk. But I couldn't use it till Grandpa Max had a friend named, Tetrax helped me build this, yeah. Oh, I see. Inka looks down a little sad. Yet again, things Izuku had not tell her instead to his grandfather. She's glad someone was there to at least help him, but she wished that could also be heard as well. Deku feels a pit groan inside of his stomach, guilt and dread filling it. It felt worse his lying to his own mother again. He thinks maybe he could tell her, but was he even allowed to? This isn't just his secret, but the plumbers too, and all the aliens. But at the same time, she could maybe understand. Mom, well, isn't that sweet? A mother and son outing. It makes me sick. Deku and Inka looks back towards her voice, and Deku recognizes the woman as one of the drones. But that's been sent after him. But it looks much different. Did someone fuse with with someone, or was it her quirk that allows her to do so? So many questions plagued his mind, but he couldn't think about them right now. Who are you? Me? A nobody about to make it big. Soon as I retrieve the omnitrix. She points at the omnitrix on his wrist, so hand it over. He was thrown off by this. She knew about the omnitrix? How did she know about the watch? Is it the robot that's controlling her, or did she already know about it by getting access to a robot? Who can say? Inko looked back at the two for any answers, but none would seem to come, as she just wants to go with her son now, but she doesn't think Rojo will let them. Now hand it over, or else I'll just take it off your charred up corpse. 2 orbs comes out of his shoulders as they warm up with a hum, as she had extended out of her hand. What should he do? He could try to talk this. Was there even a way to do that? Or does she know the vast power of what it has and wants it for herself, perhaps? Deku just grimaces as he held on to the watch. So, in case he has to use it, while Rojo is losing her patience. Time's up. What's your answer? Deku, running out of time, made up his mind. Okay, here's my answer. He opens up the watch, slamming down on it, and he instantly turned into Diamond Head. There's no way I'll allow you to take it from me. Inko looks at his son, both in amaze and shock, at his action and quirk. She hasn't seen it in person yet till now. You think you're so tough? Let's see how tough you really are, big guy. Firing at Diamond Head, but he slams down his fist onto the ground, creating diamond constructs to block it, and as an attack as well, sending it towards Rojo, hitting her. So, you want to try that again? Rojo got up, instead of shaking off an attack, being redirected at him. Trying to... Nice trick. But I got more than just those up my sleeves. But you aren't wearing sleeves. Diamond Head said that mockingly, as this made Rojo irritated and jumped off, charging at him. Rojo was much faster than Diamond had anticipated as he had to defend himself. Rojo had jumped at him, swinging with metal claws, scratching Diamond's head some. Hey, watch that. Rojo keeps slashing at him, chipping at him away. But she had swung back too far back as Diamond Head saw his opening, dropping his defense and grabbing her hand, and making her unable to get away. Let go, you twerp! Sorry, but you're not going anywhere with your claws. You're powerless to stop me. Rojo grimaces, but then gets an idea, having the pods on her shoulders pop up and warm up. You already tried that. Oh, I know. But I realize you're a good guy. And always fight fair. But I'm not a good guy. Not even a bad guy. I'm a bad girl. She redirects his shoulder orbs at a different direction. Diamond Head looks towards where the direction she was aiming at. His eyes widen as it was at Inko. So Diamond Head swings her off balance as she fired. Fortunately, the laser missed, but was still close to the ground Inko was standing on and makes her fall, to the ground and injured some. Mom! So Diamond Head looked around at Rojo, who's getting up, smirking. This infuriated him as he charged at her with a blind rage. He fires barrages of crystals at his hands and at Rojo, hitting her over and over again, unable to stop him. As he gets close enough, uppercutting her and setting her off the ground a bit, right before grabbing her again, swinging her down and punching her over and over again on her down form. After a few minutes of this, he stopped to take a breath, but soon after he calmed down, his eyes went wide in realization. Diamond Head rushes over to Inca, who's still breathing, which was a good sign, but would need medical attention. Picking her up and heading off to the hospital that wasn't too far, and that he could make in time, leaving the unconscious Rojo there. As we cut to Rojo's headspace, she seen nothing but blackness till Red Eyes opens up out of the darkness. The omnitrix. Where is it? So, Rojo, momentarily stunned by fear, but shakes it off once he had spoken. I couldn't get it. Oh, and nice of you to tell me I was dealing with a kid with such a powerful quirk. So, I'm done. Electricity hits Rojo, sending massive amount of pain to jolt her awake, with Vilgax's voice echoing through her head. You will get me the omnitrix, and if you fail again, your meaningless life will be over. Now this time, make him come to you. Rojo woke up hearing police sirens not too far from the distance. And when there's police, there's certainly heroes too. Elsewhere at the Matsutashu Hospital, Deku was in a waiting area for the doctors to come out to see him and how his mother was doing. Worried for her and thinks this was his fault. Rojo had fused with one of the downed drones after the Omnitrix. Because he has it, that means they would go after him, and in turn his mother was hurt because of his selfish dreams of becoming a hero. Everyone who ever said Deku couldn't be a hero comes back in that one moment. But the one that's the loudest in his mind was All Might. You can't be a hero without a quirk. He has his hands over his eyes, still hearing the echoes of All Might's words over and over again. The second loudest was Katsuki Bakugo. Excuse me. Deku stopped hearing the voices as he heard the voice of the doctor. He looks up to see him sitting before him. Oh, I'm sorry, I was just... There's no need. I understand your worry. But your mother will be fully recovered soon. She should need some rest at here for now. He sighed of relief that his mother would be alright. Thank you. Can I see her? Yes, you can. You can. Your grandfather should be here soon. He nods, understanding, as he heads inside, seeing his mother unconscious still. Deku sat in the chair next to the bed and having a hand on top of Inko's, looking down on her. I'm sorry, Mom. Suddenly, he felt a hand on his shoulder. He looks over to see Max looking down at him. Hey, kiddo. How are you holding up? My mom is hurt, and it's all my fault. Now, you know that's not true, Izuku. Isn't it? I'm the one who found the Omnitrix, and begged you to let me keep it, so I can be a hero. But instead, my mother got hurt, and could have possibly gotten killed because of my actions. Izuku, listen. I know you feel bad, but you can't beat yourself up over this. You know you did everything you could, but you had done to get to this point. In my heart, I know you're born for this. Thanks. But that doesn't change the fact that she was in danger because of me. Because of the watch. It's both a blessing and a curse. It's okay, Zuku. Come on. Let's put on some TV and get our minds off this for now. Backseat turned on the TV, but as he does, the news has been on. If you're just joining us, a villain who was identified as Rojo, who had seemed to be on a mass rampage. The news channel shows the picture of Rojo, who still is fused with the drone. Deku's eyes grows wide. That's her. She's got a rampage and trying to get me out there. Well, if she wants me, she can have me. Deku runs out as Max tries to stop him, but he was already gone. Max? Max turns around to see Inko awake. What's going on? Why did Izuku say she was going after him? Max worried but sighed as he makes a decision in that moment. Meanwhile, in the downtown residency of Moshitafu, the hero Kami Woods and Death Arms were defeated. So, while another hero is currently on the street. Give it up, loser. I'm not after you and that weak tech. The hero she's referring to is a man with a pencil black thin mustache wearing black and orange suit of armor with silver accents on sides of his suit, with a letter N on his chest. No way. I'm going to take you down with here, where my fellow heroes fail to. I will succeed as the number 10 hero, Captain Nemesis. Captain Nemesis uses his quirk to power up his suit, having jetpacks, blasters on, and blasts at Rojo, landing a punch, sending her flying, and destroying a car. He smirks a little as he thinks he has gotten her. With this, I should have a boost in popularity, and now to put that walking tree in its place, especially after stopping that sludge villain too. They might even make me to 9th, possibly 10th. Suddenly, Nemesis was hit by a laser, sending him back, knocking him over and breaking some parts of the armor. So, he was about to get up, but Rojo stepped on him, then knocking him out. You call that a punch? You hit like a girl. Actually, I take that back. I'm not gonna insult myself when that compares to a punch. Captain Nemesis tried to get back to the fight, but Rojo grabs the suit, using her ability of the drone to disable the suit. Oh, and you can keep that junky armor too. Doesn't have any use without a power source. As Rojo said this, she left the Captain Nemesis lying there. No way to use his quirk or his armor. As she walks away from him. She was about to cause more destruction, but a blue blur hit him. What the? She gets hit again, and knocked over to the ground, as accelerated and stopped in front of her. Looks like you started the party without me. Rojo looks up at the blue raptor and sees the omnitrix emblem on him, grabbing him by the leg and throwing him to the ground, and then following up with a kick, making him hit the car. Shaking off the pain, he looks over to Rojo with his visor up. He wants the omnitrix. He can have it. This is starting to become fun. The orbs on Roger's shoulders opens up and ready to be used. Who's he? Accelerate blitz over to Roger as she fired, where he was at, and kicking her repeatedly in the air. One good kick deserves another. Kicking off from her before landing, she wasn't affected at all. Okay, that's not what I was going for. Rosa swings her metal claws at Accelerate. Was too fast and punches her over and over again. But every punch didn't seem to affect her. Man, what are you? What's up with you? This tech is great. Gotta thank my quirk. This tech has enhanced me and my powers. She swings down at him, but Accelerate dodges out of the way and goes behind her, as Rosa expected him to, as she had one of the orbs blast him and hit him back, getting sent back, hitting a wall close by a building. Accelerate gets up and shakes his head. God, I'm gonna feel that in the morning. You won't at all, brat, because you won't be alive the next morning. Accelerate was about to fight back, but he hears the dreaded beeps and a red flash enveloping him, turning him back to normal. No, not now. Deku looks down at the watch, which is recharging, as Rojo grabs his wrist and holds him up. Let me go. Deku starts to hit her to let her go. Guess you're nothing without this watch. Which makes me think, if this is the thing that gives you all that power, imagine what it will do for me if I control it. She grins as she grabs hold of the alien device. It's turning to use her quirk, trying to take it. Deku screams out in pain as she tries to pull it off, but the green electricity shoots out of the omnitrix, starting to build up, and once it does, sending out a wave of energy, pushing Rojo away from Deku. Deku lets out a groan of pain as he gets up, seeing Rojo almost getting up as well, so he runs to hide, going into a nearby alleyway, ducking behind a dumpster to catch his breath. As he looks down at the Omnitrix, but to his surprise, the Omnitrix is fully recharged now with no cooldown time. What happened? Was it from the energy wave? He contemplates it as he hears footsteps, quickly covering his mouth and peering over the dumpster. Seeing Rojo quickly gets up and recovers again. God damn it, that brat messed up my tech. I can't track him now. Rojo goes off to look for him as he sighs in relief. Haha! A phone call is here. Deku nearly screamed but covered his mouth as he realized it was his phone. He forgot he still had his All Might ringtone on his phone, and he sees the call ID as Grandpa Max. Hello, Grandpa? Now isn't really a good time. Izuku? Deku froze up, hearing his mother's voice. Mom? You're awake. Yes, and I know you're out there fighting that woman at the park, protecting the watch on your wrist. How did you know? Your grandfather told me. Well, he told me everything. You're still quirkless, and that the watch is an alien device. Even you helping him with alien situations every now and again. Mom, I understand, Izuku. You understand what? Why you didn't tell me all of this? About aliens, you still not having a quirk, and just it all. You were afraid if I knew I would freak out, and be honest, I am still a little. But Izuku, I don't want you to not be around you, so might still be freaked out a little, but After all of this is over, as long as we can still be a family, you and me and your grandpa, I will be alright. Mom, now go and beat that lady and be a hero I know you can be. Dude's eyes widen a bit with tears slightly going down it, as he just smiles a little. Thanks, Mom. I'll be back soon as I can. He hangs up and starts to form a plan in his head. On the streets of Masutafu, Rojo continues to rampage a bit looking for Deku. Come on out, brat. The brat of this robot has already been broken. Now you damaged it even further. Now come on out and so I can take that watch. Oh, I'm already here. Rojo turns around to the voice to see no one. Where are you? Suddenly, she turns to see Ghost Freak appears and punching her in the face, then disappearing. God, what kind of freak are you? He shows up once again in front of her. I'm Ghost Freak. Punching her and disappearing once again, Rojo goes infuriated. She tries to flare about trying to find him, but as he still would stay invisible. Now, this will be an interesting experience for both of us. Ghost Freak phases through Rojo, overshadowing her, taking over his mind, but in doing so, Ghost Freak entered her mind space as he sees nothing at first until Red Eyes appears, starting to stare at him. Listen to every word. As soon as the word spoke out, Deku overwhelmed him out of the alien's presence. Be afraid. You cannot run. You cannot hide from me. And when I do, I will retrieve my omnitrix and destroy you. Instantly, he was flung out of Rojo's mind space and back to as Ghost Freak. Whoa! What was that? Who was he? Can't say, but you'll meet him soon. Rojo had the orbs on his shoulders come out, said ready to fire, but nothing happens as they fall apart. Huh? Well, I still accomplished my goal. As he said that, parts of the drones follow Rojo into tiny pieces as she reverts back to herself. What? I'm me. Yeah, I figured your quirk was the cause of your new look. So I had Ghost Freak possess you and deactivated it. Look, man, I'm a victim here. He was threatening me. Oh, I know that. Why, I'm done here. But good luck trying to explain that to them. He points behind Rojo, and she turns around to only get captured by Mount Lady in her giant form. Gotcha. Let me go. Yeah, right. Right. Not gonna happen. And you, what's your deal? Just here to help. You can take the credit. I'll just disappear. Ghost Freak disappears, leaving Mount Lady very confused. That was weird, but hey, a boost in popularity is always nice. Mount Lady walks off with Rojo in her hands to the police station. Meanwhile, at the hospital, with Max had gotten Inko checked out and helping her to the front. Easy now, Inko. I'm fine, Max. They've given me these crutches to help me walk. I know, but you still need to brace yourself. Okay. Oh! Suddenly, she is caught up in a tight embrace by her son. Mom, are you okay? Inko just smiles at her son. Yes, I am. So, Inko gives her son a hug back with one arm. Okay, you two come on. We can have a proper family reunion over a nice family dinner in the rust bucket. Or we can go to my house and have some udon tonight. Yeah, that one. So, they all laugh as they go back to the rust bucket. End of this part. Okay, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this part. Reason why I didn't start off with my usual intro is I wanted to try something new mostly. But anyway, I am not currently in my house, as you can probably, well, you probably can't tell, but at the same time, I can't imagine you still probably hear some barking in the background from dogs and stuff. But this might be the last video I'll record until I get back from my vacation next week. I'm currently house sitting and I'm going to need to do some other stuff here and there. If I can, I will try to record next week. If I cannot, I'll probably try to do a double upload when I come back. Either way, I will be doing some stuff here or there. I will probably record the finale of Tenko Shimura and Izuku Midoriya. Or record the next part of Omnitrix. Whatever guys you want, just let me know in the comments down below. If you guys say Omnitrix, then I'll do Omnitrix. If you say Deku and Shigaraki switch places, I will do that. Either way, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. See you all later. Peace.